Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. The Sixers get their most impressive win of the season. No Tobias Harris, so that stunk. We know about James Harden and his injury. And then in the middle of the game, basically right around halftime, Tyrese Maxey leaves, so you have to compete with a lot of weird lineups. You got some wonkiness going on. Joel Embiid closes it out. And he also had a good team effort. Shake Milton made some plays. Paul Reed, I thought, made some plays. You know, when you talk about Anthony Melton, it was just a full-on effort. When guys are not available for you, what are you going to do? Not that it was the prettiest by any means, because let's be honest, there were times where the Sixers had to fight back, but at the end of the day, you saw Milwaukee score 40 points in the second half, while the Sixers in the third quarter scored 34. So just think about the difference there. And, of course, the big man. The big man is back, and he's playing like one of the best players on planet Earth. And that's why you're starting to see this team generate a little bit more success, because the dude that finished in second in MVP voting the last two seasons is alive and well, and he feels himself once again. It just took him a little bit of time. We have to be honest with ourselves, though. There's a problem if Tyrese Maxey is going to miss significant time. And the fact that Doc stated after the game that he was in a boot, I'm not feeling very good about it. He's going to get an MRI, so we're going to be getting more information in the next upcoming days, but it doesn't look pretty. And seriously, I mean, you miss your two primary ball handlers, now it's going to get even weirder. And that's the problem for me with this team, basically to this point of the season, now that they're, 8-7 on the year. It's, you don't have James Harden, which is a huge miss. Guys are in and out of the lineup basically every single day. I don't know if Daniel House is available. I don't know if Anthony Melton is available. I don't know what's happening, so it's hard for this team to gel when that's the case. Well, let's just throw more fire on it, because that's how it's going to be tomorrow on a second half of a back-to-back against the Minnesota Timberwolves. My point is, there's going to be no excuses. Your big man's going to have to carry you. So I know it's hard. I know it's not easy. I know it's a ton of adversity, but no team is going to feel sorry for you. The Milwaukee Bucks are not their purest form. No one feels sorry for them. I feel sorry for Brook Lopez at times when he has to stare at Embiid, but there's times where Brook Lopez makes Joel Embiid a bit frustrated too. To be fair, I'm just enjoying the greatness of Hans. How about that mid-range where he creates the separation, and he's so much of a damn threat, he's throwing laser passes underneath the basket right on the money. I thought he did an excellent job of feeling out when Milwaukee was throwing a couple guys his way and throwing some defense. There's the ball, it's swinging around the perimeter, and you saw some open looks. George Niang, let's talk about him being an electrifying player. One of my favorite sequences of the action is Paul Reed actually making a good defensive play. The Sixers get out in transition, and bang, bang, George Niang lets it fly. So just unreal from him, being that spark plug that we need. Speaking of defense, Joel meeting Giannis at the rim in the first quarter. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Is that real life? That was ridiculous. To be fair, Giannis did earn a nice golf clap from the basketball world, if you will, before the block, but that was nasty. Joel meeting people at the rim. I love the way that he's playing on that side of the floor. I love how we nonchalantly speak about Embiid and just in passing throw out there that, yeah, it wasn't his greatest day shooting. And it wasn't, right? Like, this isn't, trust me, we've watched plenty of minutes of Embiid running up and down the floor. This wasn't the sharpest Embiid by any means. And I say that somewhat sarcastically because I want to bring up the fact that he had 32, 11, and 8. 8 assists, finding his team at 30 plus. And we go, yeah, we've seen better. It's nuts, but it's also true. Not the best shooting-wise, but found a way. While Giannis Can't buy a free throw. Thanks for the Chick-fil-A, dude. It just kept going up and up and up, and I'm watching 7, 8-year-olds on the broadcast celebrating a good Chick-fil-A. I would too, damn it. I was waiting for it to get the 32-count chicken nuggets and 6 milkshakes per customer. That's how piss poor Giannis was at the line. But at times, I'm watching Harold at the line, too, going, what the hell is going on here? Sometimes I'm watching P.J. Tucker on the offensive side, wondering whenever he's going to get some more opportunities there. And I'm strictly just speaking offensively. I got a lot of questions on who P.J. Tucker is. We do see value. If you think about times defensively and whatnot, like there's value there with P.J. Tucker. But I'll tell you what, I'm very disappointed on the offensive side of P.J. Tucker. And really not because he's going to be some juggernaut. But when you see 1 field goal, when you see 2 field goal attempts in a game, I'm sorry, the ball has to swing to him more. I know he's limited, okay? He's not going to be scoring double digits. He doesn't average double-digit scoring in the NBA. I also can't be satisfied with a field goal, 2 field goals, right? I mean, today he was 0 for 1. He had the 1 3-point look. And if you just look through some of his game logs, I mean, I was even blown away when I looked at it a couple of days ago. In 30 minutes against the Jazz, he had 0 for 0 with 0 points. In the game against the Hawks in Philly, he went 1 for 1 with 2 points in 31 minutes. Look, I'm not telling you that I expect him to seriously be like a huge part to this. But I need more. Going back to the Knicks, in 25 minutes on November 4th, he went 1 for 5 with no threes made, but he took 3 of them. Let me get a little bit of that. October 31st against the Wizards. 6 for 8 from the field. 13 points in 32 minutes. Before that, against the Bulls, 8 points. 2 threes made. I need something like that from P.J. Tucker. I guess the problem becomes, once again, you go from a James Harden, very slowed down player, moves the offense through him dribbling a lot, and you play at his pace. Now it's Maxey. Now he's injured. Shake Milton, D'Anthony Melton, just different ball handlers nonstop. I just don't know how you're supposed to find a comfortability factor when you're a role player too, right? Embiid, guys like that, different story. But when you're pretty much the last option, you have to find a way, right? Like, we need to continue to work on this. But I kind of also understand why at times it looks clunky. But you would think just naturally in a game, the ball accidentally finds you more times to shoot. But maybe not when you want to make sure Embiid gets his touches and all that. I don't know. I'm looking for answers just like everybody else. But I'll be honest. I thought once Tobias Harris was listed as not playing tonight, I was concerned. Just for the importance of the body. He is a starter, and there are nights where he's sensational, and there are nights where his three-point shooting matters, is the difference, or his ability to take advantage of a certain matchup. There's also times where he misses layups and makes you scratch your head a ton. But I don't know, I just had a bad taste in my mouth. And seriously, when Maxey left, I was even worse. He was going off. He had 24 points, 9 field goals in 12 attempts. As soon as he started to run up the steps, though, after the injury happened, you could see the grimace in his face. Now, I didn't expect to hear that he was in a walking boot. Just based off the way he walked underneath the tunnel afterwards, it looked more precautionary than anything else. But you could tell how much pain he was in. Going down to his foot afterwards. That's going to be devastating for me. Because I'm in Sixers go mode now. Now I'm missing one of the most electric players that we have. It's going to be a weird style. It's going to be weird ways to go about things. That's why I'm cracking my ass off when I'm looking on Twitter and people freaking out at Doc tonight for some of the rotations. Yeah, but he's got Reed and he's got nothing. He's got nothing tonight. I'm not a big Doc Rivers fan, but you gotta separate. Yeah, but Giannis is out there in this lineup. Yeah, the lineup didn't even do that bad at the end of the third quarter. Weirdly enough, I'm not betting on it consistently, but sometimes the situation dictates why you have to play certain players. I'll get on Doc Rivers plenty of times for poor decisions with the lineup. Tonight, please. Tonight's not the night. You don't have two of your top two ball handlers. What the hell are you supposed to do? It's going to get awkward. It's going to get uncomfortable. Can you lean on the star? Can you lean on Joel after his 59-point performance? And he had a bunch of days off. Sometimes that scares me for Joel because I think when he plays every other night, that's when Joel shines. So he had to wait all week to play the Bucks. And that was an extremely impressive win. And they're starting to ride the high of Joel. And that's how this league works. So for all the fear in the beginning, he looks out of shape. Yeah, he had so many problems heading into the offseason for getting elbowed in the damn face. He needed to rework his hands. It's called being a human and having to readjust your body. Wasn't in the proper shape that he wanted to be in because of some issues with not being able to run and get in shape. 15 games in? What's that? Joel's hitting mid-range jimmies out the ass, off the dribble, step backs, fade into his right. The dude's got it all. You should never be worried. Shame on me for being worried with no Tobias, right? Stupid. You're stupid, bros. I'm sorry. I was in my feels. What do you want me to do? I think they're going to handle business again tomorrow. I know the Maxey thing is real. I know it is. When you have this low amount of bodies, inevitably reality hits. But I think there's something brewing at the same time when your star is leading this way. It's different if Embiid's not looking like this, but the sky's the limit in the NBA. When your dogs are dogs. And our dog right now is a damn dog. All right, I'll read a text message or two before we take some anytime hotline calls. Here's a text message from, I'll go to Harrison here. Can Joel dominate his way through not having Tyrese, Harden, and others? I think so. And here's another reason why. He's seeing his teammates well. If teams are going to double him and say anyone but, because let's be honest, at one point Doc Rivers was saying, we're running everything through Joel. Hey, get the ball in his hands and let him work the magic. And the other team said, no, anyone but. Guys are going to get wide open looks. From there, it's on them to knock them down. There's going to be nights where it's just a poor shooting night. You could have the same exact situations on a different game 3 days later, and those shots fall at a way different clip. Instead of 30% from three, you're shooting 43% from three. Something ridiculous. I'm just saying. A big, huge difference, ridiculous difference in three-point shooting on a different night, and you win with the same looks, with the same exact passing. But that still counts as part of Embiid's dominance, too. It's his ability to move the ball, know the timing of the defenders, and get his team good looks. And if you don't want to do that, good luck, Kelly Olynyk. We see what happens when they say, okay, fine. You want to put it in his hands all the time? He destroys you. He can get 59. So do I think so? Yeah, I think so. Let's take a look at some of the upcoming games. I know Minnesota's tomorrow. I don't even know how good Minnesota is this year. Real quickly, the Minnesota Timberwolves, if I go to standings, They are 7-8. So they're one game different from the Sixers. Tomorrow they play Timberwolves, then the Brooklyn Nets on Tuesday. The Hornets, the Magic twice. I think there's a good possibility to keep the momentum rolling, even through whatever news that we get in the next upcoming days. I don't think that that's outrageous. See, a lot of the text messages that came in is about Maxey. How much trouble are they in without Maxey? There's one, Steven. Do you feel anything is different with this team over the last few games? Yeah. Joel. Just that simple. Sometimes it's that simple. All right, we'll take some calls here. Here we go.
What a clutch performance by the chosen one, Embiid. That game was a complete shit show for most of the game. Probably the best part of the whole game was watching Giannis miss all those free throws. But, man, I got to give credit. Out Maxey, out Harden, out Tobias, and Embiid just put the team on his back. Got to give it up to him. I was glad to see him trying to get back into shape and take us to the promised land.
Well, I mean, there was no question that was going to happen. If you did feel concerned early on, I think you just don't pay attention to how the Embiid seasons go, how the start of the year goes, and what he dealt with at the end of last season. It's not an excuse. It actually happened. And I know I've stated this in the past, but he stated this. He's got to refigure himself out. The dude just had a bunch of surgeries. His hands aren't the same. When you're in the post and you're on the low block and guys are swatting at your hand, you're going up to grab a rebound, guys are swatting at the ball, you're below the basket, you want to go up with it, you're trying to establish your body, and you got someone like Brook Lopez and other defenders swarming down, so now you're getting double teamed and they're hacking you. You just had surgery on your hands. Sometimes like, how am I going to do this? I know I'm going to be able to. What's the best way for me to go about business now, though? I have to get hit a few times to feel it. That's like playing football and getting popped. You need that first hit. All right, you're a running back. You get popped by a linebacker. You get back up, you get back to the huddle, and now it's your time again. But you felt that hit. You're good. As a defenseman in hockey, someone dumps the puck in. You get back first. You make a nice D-to-D pass. But here's the forecheck. You get hit in the glass. All right. It's the woo! The smelling salt. Woo! That's how the first few games was for Embiid. Now it's rolling. Now it's rolling. It's incredible. I'm in awe. I'm still laughing back at the fact that we kind of talk about this as a ho-hum game. It was all right. 32, 11, and 8. 7'2" big man. 8 assists. He used to never be able to smoothly get teammates open looks. Turnovers are still an issue with him at times. I'm not pretending like it's all great. But think about where he has grown in that area. He's light years away. And that's why the team has success when he does it. Let's take another one.
Can we throw some respect to Shake Milton? I mean, a few years ago, he was such a high-risk player. He could make the score, but you never know if he would either win you the game or lose you the game. But ever since the playoff run last year, I see a really valuable bench piece, and I don't feel like people talk about it. I don't even know if Doc acknowledges it, but I'm putting some respect on Shake Milton.
I'm not going to be an ass here, but I don't feel that way about Shake Milton. If Shake Milton wasn't on the Sixers anymore, I wouldn't be discussing. At this point, he's had plenty of time to blossom into something better than he is. Quite frankly, I thought by now he would be a step farther in his career than he is. He's a very inconsistent guy. To me, he's just a guy. I really don't have that love affair with Shake Milton. Truth be told, I just thought that he'd be a better player at this point. A more consistent player. Last season, in 21 minutes, he averaged 8 points per game. And the year before, he averaged 13. And the year before, he averaged 9.4. Now, when he averaged 9.4, there was a couple minutes less per game. But still, I mean, it's not egregious. You tell me a bench player gives you 8 points per game on average, it's not terrible. But I just think that he's very consistent. When he goes off and does his thing, there's times where it's like, whoa, he's giving us, what? Remember that game out in L.A.? Where's that? You know? I don't know. That's my feelings on it. I guess my point is, and I appreciate all phone calls. I love you to death. But that's part of this. I'm reacting to it. Watching this game tonight, the last thing personally, not that anyone's wrong to feel the way that they do, but personally, the last thing I would think to do is let me praise Shake Milton for his time here. And I think he deserves more respect. I don't see that. Maybe he does fantastic with the time out with some of these other players, with some of the guys missing minutes. And I hope he does well. I think he's gotten the proper level of respect. Just a guy. Just a guy. All right, well, that's what I have for you today. Not going to keep you too long. It's a Friday night. I'm exhausted. I'm beat. Need to relax this weekend. Although we got Sixers tomorrow, Eagles and Sunday. Ain't no such thing as relaxing in this business. But I love it. And I love all you guys. Thank you so much. You're the greatest. I appreciate you. You're the best. I'll see you guys next time.